All right, let's move on. We keep rolling. Next up for us, we move into afternoon action, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Washington football team 4-6, 2-3 on the road at Las Vegas. Raiders 6-5, 3-3 at home. Nice to have Ron Crawford rolling with us. We're at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's move over to the market here. Washington, Vegas. Vegas opening up as 2.5-point favorites. That's where it stands right now. There's just been a 2-cent move towards them in Pinnacle. This total opened up at 48.5. Now we see 49.5s and 50s. Move over to the cash in this spot. We have just 1,122 tickets in. Quiet on the Western Front. 82% of tickets on Vegas. 97% of the cash on Vegas. Wow. 76% of the tickets on the under, 73% of cash on the under. Washington comes in off a short week after a big 17-15 win at home over the Seahawks on Monday night. I have a note here that I need to actually go to the injury report for this one. All right, there we go. Taylor, Heineke, 27-35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Scary Terry caught 4 passes for 51 yards. DeAndre Carter caught 4 for 42 yards. Logan Thomas returned from injury. He had 3 catches for 31 yards. Antonio Gibson was a monster. 29 carries, 111 yards, caught 7 passes for 35 yards. Washington outrushed Seattle 152-34, held the ball for 41 minutes and 40 seconds. They put pressure on Wilson all night. So Seattle had the ball for 18 minutes and 20 seconds. In those 18 minutes and 20 seconds, Wilson was sacked twice and hit 10 times. So Wes Schweitzer left in the second quarter with an ankle injury. And that meant that Keith Ismail came in. He's their 4th stringer. And no update on Schweitzer right now. But Sam Cosmi is not coming back. So he's going to miss the remainder of the season. He's done for the year. That's not good. So Tyler Larson, their center, is questionable. He was inactive. Ricky Seals-Jones, tight end, was inactive. And Joyce Lai has been placed on injured reserve. And Curtis Samuel made his first catch since week 4. So this groin injury he's had for months. Looks like he's going to be back. And then Logan Thomas, as I said, came back after missing 6 games with a hamstring injury. Raiders come in off extra rest and prep after their wild 36-33 win on Thanksgiving. Raiders put up a season-high 509 yards. Derek Carr was 24-39 for 373 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow was a monster. Career-high 8 catches for 134 yards. Deshaun Jackson looked very good. And Jose Bouquet called that Deshaun Jackson touchdown. It didn't take long for him to get it. He caught 3 passes for 102 yards. Josh Jacobs looked like his old self for the first time since the very beginning of the year. 22 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown. Also caught 2 passes for 25 yards. They had just 2 third-down conversions in the previous 2 games. Then they were 3 for 13 in this one. They did get 4 third-down conversions by defensive interference penalties by Anthony Brown. But they couldn't get very much pressure again. 1 sack, 5 quarterback hits. Daniel Carlson hit 5 field goals. Darren Waller was ruled out after leaving the game twice. He's doubtful. He's being called week to week, and it's the knee injury, not the back injury that's bothered him. Carl Nassib, injured knee, didn't return. He's doubtful. He's also week to week. So Carl Nassib, week to week. Darren Waller, week to week. Cornerback Brandon Faxon is ruled out with a concussion. He's in protocol, so he still could play. Nicholas Morrow was put on IR with an ankle injury. And Kwiatkowski and Keyshawn Nixon, linebacker and cornerback, respectively, were both inactive and are listed as questionable this week. Here we go. Washington, Las Vegas. Do you trust the Raiders with these injuries and believe in what we saw on Thanksgiving Thursday? Bebsie, take it away.
Well, buckle up, baby, because I do trust the Raiders. And it's hard because I'm flip-flopping as to whether, okay, is this Vegas coming back from all the turmoil that they had between obviously the horrendous story of Ruggs, the super gross John Gruden shit, the Arnett stuff that was just the icing on the shit cake that has been the Raiders season. What I do like about them here is they're a better football team, and they're at home, and Washington played Monday night. So Washington's got to travel after playing Monday night, after beating a Seattle team that, Listen, I've said this for 2 years now. Pete Carroll's lost. He's lost it. The game has passed him by. I'm not saying he's full senile yet, but I'm saying he's lost it. He can't. Their offensive game plan is throw the ball up deep to your two big receivers, your one giant receiver, your one fast receiver, and Washington was just able to shut that down. But look, this Washington football team is not good. They are getting some players back. Logan Thomas being back is huge. Curtis Samuel being back is. I'll wait till I see him make an impact in this offense before I say that's big. Vitalis, that's exactly what they're doing. They hope for a PI, which is why they'll match up against San Francisco well, but we'll get to that. But I don't know. I don't have a ton of faith in Washington. I don't have a ton of faith in the Raiders. But a better football team at home, and we've talked about this in the chat earlier this year, but the NFL wants Vegas to win in Vegas. So 2.5, not that bad. Not that bad.
Yeah.
If you were your grandpa, you'd take away his car keys. You would. Why can't the Seattle ownership see that Pete Carroll doesn't know what's going on anymore?
Oh, Crystal, that's funny. And Dennis Garcia, a couple things here. Mr. Fun Monk, I think, is bang on when he says, I still love how Carr handled the press conferences after the distractions. He's a true leader in my book. I agree with that completely. Dennis Garcia says, I hate that Vegas played Thursday and Washington played Monday, but still might take Washington. I tell you what, I do not want to back the Raiders after what we saw, but and what we saw was good. I don't know if I fully believe it. I just think that was a pretty nice situation for them, and getting that 7.5 was so easy to bet them. But do we want them as a favorite?
But this line on neutral ground, you're saying Washington's a half a point better than them? Like, that's what I don't understand here.
Yeah, I understand. I think the biggest angle for you, though, is Washington traveling after a Monday in Vegas having the extra days. I think that's the best angle.
But also, just look, Washington, the strength of their team. We talked about this so much in the offseason, and we talked about what was going to make Washington not a contender, but a playoff team, was the strength of that front seven. Well, that front seven was shit all year, and then they lost their most dynamic player. Not their best player in the front seven. I do believe Allen is their best player in that front seven, but Chase Young is without question their most dynamic player. So they're not going to be able to get a ton of pressure. And it sucks that Waller's out, but listen, they still have talent in that receiving group. They still have Foster Moreau. And yes, Nutflush Allen, Crosby's going to be all over Taylor Heineke.
Let's just make sure that this is – I think this is all real lines and nothing stale, but I'm just going to double check one last time. And if this is good to go, then we are good to go. And
yes,
Raiders...
Viper. Waller's backup is Foster Moreau, former LSU stud. And Foster Moreau can play football. He's not Darren Waller, but he's a good tight end.
-2.5 at -107. Available at Pinnacle is the best line I can get you. Do you want to make that official, Bebsie?
I'm going to make that official. In spite of even Madcapper yelling, no, Bebsie. We'll revisit this Madcapper next week, and I'll see if we're right. You're right.
This is interesting. I always find it Vipers on the Raiders too, but 2.5 as well. But I always love when Dennis Garcia and Birdie are heads up against each other. It always adds just an extra element of excitement for me when I follow along. I get it. I completely get it. But I am going to sit and stare. Let's just take one last look again where the cash is on this one. 82% of the tickets, 97% of the cash on the Raiders. If the Raiders are able to move forward this year and finish off strong, you can say all you want about Bisaccia, but it's Carr. Derek Carr keeping them focused and keeping them through this. I will become an enormous fan of him if he can keep all this together. Twatty Latte saying, hey, Ron, hope you're feeling better. He is. Ron Crawford had surgery last week, and we need him. We need him healthy. We need him eating vegetables and getting his rest, because we need his capping with us. So he's in business here.